Well, happy 4th of July. 250 years ago today, a group of men, some might say flawed men, some might say remarkable men, signed their names to a idea, not a king, not a bloodline, but an idea, that all men are created equal, endowed by their creator with rights that no government gave them and no government could take away. That idea was radical then, and in some parts of the world is still radical today. I'm almost 50 years old, and I grew up in an America where you stood for the anthem, and not because someone made you, but because you wanted to. Where neighbors would help neighbors in the time of need and without ask. Where you could sit at the dinner table, disagree with somebody, and still stand up, shake their hand when you left. Where hard work wasn't the punchline, but it was the whole point. My parents taught me those values. My grandparents lived them, and my grandfather's generation didn't talk much about sacrifice. They just made it. And they did so as if we could, so that we could stand here today, free on the 4th of July afternoon, and argue about what America should look like. I didn't grow up with much. We certainly weren't wealthy. We had what we needed. But there were no shortcuts handed to me, no silver spoons, no connections that opened up doors. What I had were two parents who believed that if you showed up, worked hard, kept your word, and this country would meet you halfway. And it did just that for me. The life that I've built, the family that I've raised, and the opportunities that my kids have that I did not, that's not by luck. That's by hard work. And really, that's America working the way that it was designed to work. And I'm grateful for every single day that I have the opportunity to wake up and enter into that America that I grew up in. I've also had the privilege of traveling around the world and this nation. Been able to see other countries and other corners of this world. I do want to say that that will give you some perspective, and that will change how you see things. There are certainly beautiful places with good people everywhere, but when you've walked through countries where it's not exactly the same here, where maybe there are things and beliefs that are maybe forced upon you, where religious beliefs are different, or even replaces civil law in some cases, and you don't have the individual rights that answer to a constitution, that you've seen a different part of the world, and it gives you a chance to see what it looks like without some of the freedoms that, here in America and others, that we often take for granted. You will look at things differently. You come home thankful. You come home with your eyes open. And because I've seen what it makes it clear that our way of life is not the default setting for everybody. It's certainly an exception, and exceptions do require protection. There are ideologies, some rooted in foreign legal traditions that have no place in an American courtroom, others that promise collective salvation while quietly dismantling individual liberties. Those are patient. They are patient. They don't announce themselves. They creep into institutions, into language, into policy, into one compromise at a time. And the answer to that isn't panic, it isn't anger, it's rootedness. It's knowing that you are so clearly going to be able to move forward in our values, and they are not going to be replaced. My parents taught me those values. My grandparents lived them. That freedom to argue, it's not a sign of weakness, it's the whole thing kind of working. But to be honest, and today is a day for honesty, there are forces from within, from within and from outside this country that would rather see us divided than united, that profit from our anger, that want us to believe that we have nothing in common, that the American experiment is a lie, that we should trade our hard-won freedoms for false comfort of government dependent on government dependence. Or the false promise that tearing down what we've built will somehow allow something better to be built. Totally false. I don't believe that at all, and I don't think that most of Americans believe that either. I've seen how this country can operate, over the course of the 50 years that I've been around, across small towns, big cities, and my opportunities to travel. And, when the camera's not rolling, it's easy to see how good we actually are, how generous we can be, how tough we can be. And, with the World Cup going on, others are seeing that. No ideology imported from abroad, no radical fringe, no algorithm designed to make us hate each other. None of those, none of that is stronger than we've put together in motion 250 years ago today. We've been through civil wars, 2 world wars, Great Depression. We've buried presidents, absorbed unimaginable losses through terrorism, and every single time we come back together and even stronger. Certainly America isn't perfect. It never was meant to be. It was really just something that we're still working on. It's not finished. It was meant to be worked on, and that's what we've received. So today, put down the noise, hug your family, thank a veteran, watch the fireworks, and remember that what it actually means to be free. Happy Independence Day. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.